What is the most interesting course in psychology you taught?
I think some of the most interesting stuff I've taught in psychology has been about how assumptions about the brain we have in everyday life are sometimes wrong. Well, you see brain scans of people who have half their brain missing, and it really questions your assumptions about what the brain does and how the brain has a tremendous capacity to remap important functions to other areas of the brain. The cool things is this Phineas Gage case study where someone gets a big pole through their brain, they lose a big chunk of their brain, but they don't die. They just keep living. And I think a lot of that stuff really underscores like how clever the brain is in terms of all of the functions it does and how smart neurons can be. All of this stuff is interesting.
What makes psychology so interesting to study?
I think psychology is interesting to study because I genuinely think that most of our lives we spend around other people, and a lot of the time other people are unfathomable. We don't understand them. And psychology is really the only time you get to ask questions about your interactions with other people, or you get to ask questions about society and how that influences you. And those are questions and things that happen all the time, non-stop. And I think, literally, I just think those are the most interesting questions. How do your parents affect you? How does society affect you? If you had different genes, in what ways would you act differently? What is a criminal? Is a criminal made? Are they genetic? All of those questions. And I think psychology has those. And I think that's why psychology is so interesting.
Can you give us some crazy facts about people that have schizophrenia?
Schizophrenia is not as portrayed in the media. It's not a disease of criminality or anything like this. I think what's interesting about schizophrenia is that it is like multiple different things happening at the same time that seem unconnected. It really makes you question what's really going on inside of you, which is causing you not to have hallucinations, because all of these misperceptions must be happening somewhere. When we talk about the hallucinatory part of schizophrenia, you have a lot of neuronal noise along your auditory nerve, and potentially that noise could be perceived as being words. So that's kind of interesting because it kind of opens up the door to what are you really hearing? What are you really perceiving? What are your neurons telling you? And I think all of the stuff about perception in schizophrenia and hallucinations are really interesting.